right, can we call it from the jaws of defeat? Were we at that death grip hold? I don't know if we were there just yet, but definitely, well, I guess like my dog, chomping down on a piece of food on the counter strong. Yeah. It's hard to get it out of his mouth, out of Cooper's mouth, but not impossible. Bruins had some life a little bit, but then they get a goal, they were down, then they showed some life, got a goal from Taylor Hall with just under 3 minutes remaining in the third, and go to overtime and win it. Win it in overtime. 39 seconds in. 4-3 over the Washington Capitals. We welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Morning Brew at night. As we get off air, we get home, and we get it done for you. So it's dropping at 6 a.m. and coming out. Bruins tie the series up 1-1. Razor, you had a different venue watching this one. I will tell you, there was a time early on in this game where I was just, I didn't say it overtly, but internally I'm like, I got to tell you something. If this Bruin team can't figure out the neutral zone and handle the physicality, the presence of the Caps, this could be a tougher series than I thought it was going to be. And they did. They adjusted.
The giveaways, the nonchalant with the puck in the first 15 minutes, and it didn't feel as though it was completely because of the Capitals. It felt like it was self-induced. It was lackadaisical, but they scored. They scored a couple times. Patrice, DeBrusk again. Yep. But to your point, it didn't feel crisp. It didn't feel playoff intensity. It didn't feel like they had the urgency that was going to be necessary to win this game that I expected them to come out with. Mm-hmm. It was unnerving because you knew they couldn't keep it up, getting away with it. And right. The way Tuukka was playing right away, they just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, 18 shots for each team in the first period. But yet, it felt like a heck of a lot more for the Washington Capitals, at least in my opinion. Holy smokes, Anthony Mantha. If he could score, the game would have been over almost, probably. Could have been 4-0. Mantha, I don't know what he finished with in this game. I don't remember. At least 5 great chances, at least.
Yeah, at least. And he's a scorer, too. It's not like he's a fourth-line player that they called up that isn't dangerous in those situations. And, all Swedish, no finish, missing the net. And again, when you look at those 18-8 shots, I think in the first 10, 12 minutes, the saves Tuukka had to make were better than any of the ones Anderson had to make all night. To be able to, the one on Dowd, when again, Charlie Coyle, like, what do we...
Yeah, I know. What's he giving up?
Yeah. And I get it. He got it back, but I think that just goes to the point of how they might not necessarily have been ready, because that was an odd play. Looking around and just letting him go to the net, it was just odd to see an NHL playoff game like that.
Yeah, it was almost like the Bruins were watching and waiting for the physical thrust, the actual physical, the impact from the Caps, and as if to say, okay, you're going to hit us, and we're going to take it a bit, and then we'll see what happens, type of thing. And that's like the worst thing you can do. I don't know. I know that I'm being a smartass about it, but it seemed like they were waiting. Weird. They were watching. All of them were just for a bit. And Tuukka was great early on. Let's everybody loves your Tuukka takes, as do I. Let's just get right to Tuukka, okay? Because holy Christ, was there a bunch of, and there always is, the talk radio, the written, the social media, done with Tuukka, done after game 1. It's amazing. It is amazing.
It is amazing.
And it's not that, I don't want to speak for you, but it's not that he's infallible. It's not that I think he's perfect. It's not that I think he's the end all, be all. But in my opinion, he's a hell of a goalie. People say you don't win with him. We should, honest to God, I'm not kidding here, Razor, and I don't know if you'd be up for it. We should do a show where we open it up to let people give us their Tuukka rants, albeit controlled, concise, and educated, not just yelling and saying you don't win with them. I'd love to get into that discussion, not to argue, but to have real hockey talk. Do you think we could do it? Do you think we could actually have a show and to give us your best Tuukka takes?
Well, listen, I mean, we could have a show because there'll be more than enough people calling in. I'm not sure that the education part and the actual like, let's not just go to he has tummy aches and doesn't play. I mean, I get, okay, that whatever. He's not Tim Thomas. Yes, we get it. He's not Tim Thomas either. But what he does and what he brings on a nightly basis in these games that we talk about are must-have games. This was a must-have game. He played fantastic. So, okay, does he get the leash?
No. No.
Like, enough, okay? He's playing the rest of the series now. Everybody. Like, it's it. This is what he is. He is really good. And he makes a lot of saves. He makes really good plays with the puck right now. His hockey sense is off the charts. And he does win a lot of these big games. He wins overtime games. He finds ways to keep his team in it. And tonight
there will
no
still
different.
be people tomorrow that will say, or Tuesday that say, you should still start Swayman. You should take him out. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm not going to even get into it anymore. I want to go over it goal by goal. But I'm not kidding. We should have a show if the people are willing to communicate in a constructive way.
Yeah,
like let's talk it out. I'd love to hear it.
We'll break down every goal. We'll break down every play and why that he's doing this, and then we'll go to all the other plays that. I'm watching with Mace tonight, right? Mace is playing goal. I'm watching it with him, and I'm like, Buds, that's out of this world what he just did. And it'll just get sloughed off in the telecast and the broadcast, and it'll be a play, or he'll make a save, and the play will go on, and three other things will happen, and you won't get back to that play. And you know that happens in TV all the time. Mm-hmm. If it's not this crazy, fantastic thing, there'll be three other things that happen, you won't get to it. But what he does, and on a consistent basis, is so much better than everybody else, or a lot of other goalies.
The other thing I do, I judge teammates, especially goaltenders, based on how their teammates react to them and what they say about them. And I'm not talking about what they say in the post game Zoom that they love so and so and he's a this and he's a that. I'm talking the legit interactions off the ice in the locker room that you get to see the conversations you have with other guys, perhaps in the off season, about certain, players, etc. Where guys, it's not letting their guard down, where it's a different scenario. You know what I mean? Where I can have a conversation where guys, and I'll just say this: guys have his front and his back, as a teammate. Yeah. And to me, sitting in a locker room with somebody, it's like what's the old saying, Razor? You don't really get to know guys until you get to play a round of golf with them. You get to see what a guy's character is really like. It's, does he kick the ball? Yeah. Does he this? Does he that? You know what I mean? That type of thing. You don't really get to know a guy until you sit next to him in a locker, in the room, and you get to talk to him. And then when I get to talk to those guys, my point is, I've never heard a bad word. Never. From one of his teammates.
And I'll add to that, because this group, and this includes Zdeno Chara, this group's weeded people out very obviously, very publicly over the last 12 years. Tyler Seguin, Dougie Hamilton. Yep. There's a bunch of other guys. There's probably, in a dozen years, there's a dozen names that we could go through that didn't fit with this group, that didn't work hard enough, that weren't committed enough, weren't responsible, weren't disciplined, all of those big words that we use.
Weren't good teammates.
Weren't good teammates, weren't good guys, had problems, didn't care about winning enough. Who's the goalie been through all of that? Mm-hmm. And there was another goalie that was here for a little while, and he had to go away too. And I know he won something, but there was an issue there too. Mm-hmm. And there's one goalie that's been here through all of that, and that's Tuukka Rask. So we can talk, people can call into talk radio or call in or tweet, and he doesn't care. Listen, if Tuukka Rask doesn't care, then Patrice Bergeron doesn't care. That's the way I see it, because those guys have all stood behind those guys. You have to question Patrice Bergeron, Marchand Krejci if you question Tuukka Rask's care.
Yeah. I love it. I do. But still, there's going to be people. Somebody's going to give us the finger tomorrow, in the comments, and that's fine.
Yep.
All in good fun. Yes.
It's 1-1, so there'll be less of them.
Who knows? I don't know
more.
if there are. I think there might be more.
Or more,
All right, let's just go through. Fine, let's just do this. Let's do this rigmarole, the exercise, the goals against Tuukka. You have the Hathaway had 2 goals. How about that? Brown University represented in this game. But it starts with TJ Oshie on the tip. That was a slick tip. It was actually a real nice play by Ovechkin. Settled it, head up, picks it. Yeah. It's a snap pass, elevated a little bit. Okay. I think most people, even a non-goalie like myself, would say, great pass, great tip.
Tip of the hat. Yep.
Okay. What's your take on the other goals? The Hathaway goal, a deflection off of a let me ask you this. Okay. Let me ask you this. It's
so we'll skip the third one too, because the third one's a great play. He has to respect Orlov. He gets out a little bit. That pass comes across, and he gets close, but it's a 2-on-1. It's a great play.
So he didn't overplay it. He didn't overplay that. You didn't feel like.
Well, no, he kind of has to because of Miller stepping up. It isn't like a clear cut 2-on-1.
Yeah,
so with that step up at the blue line, that change you as a player you get aggressive right away, and Orlov recognizes that. Orlov's a defenseman. Maybe he's going to shoot right away, but he makes a nice play. And beats him. So technically he's aggressive, but I think the circumstances of that play make that more difficult because it's not clear cut.
All right, and I will tell you this: Snipe City upstairs,
yes,
by Hathaway.
No mistake at all.
For a kid like that who's a 4th line grinder, that's a hell of a shot. By the way, if Jake DeBrusk, and we'll touch on Jake in a moment, if he had been able to elevate it,
it's all exactly over. Don't even go to overtime.
Exactly. He gets it upstairs. He put it back into Anderson. All right. Yeah. Let's just quickly go over the second goal off the face-off, the one that at least went through or by 4, maybe 5 guys. My non-goalie comment would be this, okay? I'd love him to, flex seal it up. You know, if that was a leaky moment to me, but I know he didn't see it. So I'm not defending him, and I'm not saying it was all his fault. What I'm saying is that would have been one where I felt like if his stick was in front of him more and he wasn't trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do there, and just box or build the wall, so to speak, right there, that one doesn't go through him. Is that fair?
That's fair. However, we've talked about it on Ness, and we've talked about it here, when he's really good, he's holding his edges. And he's staying on his feet, and he's not sliding, he's not moving around. That's what he's trying to do there. He's trying to find it. He's trying to stay on his feet as long as he possibly can. With 8 bodies in front of him like that, you're not expecting that to go all the way through. He's going to hold his edges. He's going to hold on, expecting that to hit a skate, bounce off to his left, to his right, and then he's going to find it. For that to go all the way through, that's the odds he's taking, and that's why he puts his head up. He can't believe that it gets tipped 3 times and still goes underneath his legs, because typically that hits 3 skates and goes off into the slot. He's on his edges. He's able to move again. So I've praised him for being on his edges. Once he starts sliding, that's when he actually gets into more trouble throughout a game. He held his edges really well again. In game 2, on the Dowd play, he comes over on his edges. He doesn't slide over in the first period, the breakaway. And that's what he's trying to do. Yes, in hindsight, he should have just sealed if that puck goes all the way through. But it's a give and take. You have to take the good with the bad. And Tuukka's better when he's holding his edges rather than going down.
Okay. That's the one I'd like to say, somehow, some way, for me, make that save. Have the stick in front of you instead of having it go through the legs when your stick's a little bit to the side. Again, I'm talking layman. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I get it. There's a screen. It's bouncing, all that stuff. I'd love to see that one hit him, if that makes sense. Okay? Yeah. All right. Let's get to, go. First line had to step up. Second line had to step up. I thought the first line, the Bergeron line, was better. And then the second line. I still didn't think that Krejci, Hall, and Smith were in sync a lot in the game. But the Bergeron line was. They were working hard. They were doing what they do. Now, I didn't think Marchand had a oh my God game until a third period when I felt like his focus was really sharp in the third period. And I thought he became all everything again, Brad, in the third. And Pastrnak had some great chance. He's just missing.
Missing that again.
He's missing.
I mean, I think it was it Orlov? I think it was Orlov that got a piece of that one empty net, but still, it's like that's the same thing we talked about after game one. Like that's got to go in so he can get going. He needs to get going, and that means scoring for him. He's doing the other things. I mean, what a great play, knocking it down. What an assist to Bergeron, but we'll overlook that because we want him to score goals.
Yeah, it's like. I wanted to say enough of the misses, like those. The shot off the face-off that he puts right into the chest on Craig. Earlier in the year, where that one goes
barring
low
in,
or barring in, exactly.
Yes,
I mean, it just, and he knows it too.
No, I know
he feels it. He knows it. Pastrnak ends with 8 attempts. 4 hit the net, 2 were blocked, 2 missed the net. The Bruins still miss the net an awful lot. I will give some of the credit to the Washington Capitals for that. For how they defend and how they've been good with their sticks. But 22 missed shots, 19 more were attempted that were blocked. So great that they got a lot of shots off. And they had 48 shots on goal, led by Taylor Hall, 7, 5 by Marchand, Bergeron by 6, again, 4 by Pastrnak, 5 each by DeBrusk and Clifton. They had quantity, and they had some good chances, but they still missed the net on some golden opportunities.
They did, and that was noticeable. And yes, you do have to give Washington some credit. They're big and long, and they force you to shoot wide. They're good at that. It's just when it's Pastrnak, he can find a way.
Yeah,
and he's just a little bit off, and you want him to hit cylinders. So yeah, the first line very good. I loved Hall's game all night. Okay. But you had perfect words out of sync. It looked a little out of sync in that Hall was doing more than the other guys, or trying to do more, or wasn't whatever it was. It just wasn't syncing up. But I thought Hall was great individually all night. But as a line, it was getting a little frustrating. It was nice to see them score that grind out goal, and those are the ones that can snowball and get that line going a little bit. And what I was thinking, and I'm not how much time we have, but I was thinking about 5 minutes into the third, thinking about what's the matchup? Why is this not working? And what's the game 3 matchup, and how's that going to change to release these guys a little bit? Because it felt like Laviolette did a really nice job in 2 games.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Getting exactly the way he wanted it. It's going to be an interesting chess match come game 3, because I think that was I felt like it in the third watching, it just kind of clicked that they're having a hard time with matchups.
The Bruins, we talked about that in the post-game show, that this going home should be, matchups have been a big factor in this series. This should alleviate some pressure, whether it's the D pairs against Ovechkin. And by the way, Connor Clifton ended up playing over 6 minutes against Ovechkin. Now, that was by Laviolette's choice. I mean, because Bruins, now maybe they got him out there a couple of times here and there, but Cliffy did his job against him. He did a nice job. And Cliffy has that wonderful, almost... chuckle swag, you know what I mean, about him, that he probably said, I'll play, Ovi. Come on, buddy, let's go. And he did a nice job, because Ovechkin, after the first, I thought was quiet in this game. But I agree. The matchups are going to be interesting. And I don't want to go too tangent here, but big question marks for Washington. Will Lars Eller be able to play? He did not play after the second period. That's another player out. Oshie is battling something, no doubt. I love him as a gamer, but he's definitely battling something. Yeah. Carlson, I thought at times, he's got beat wide by Carlson with a little shoulder shimmy shake, and then brought the puck to the net, and he got beat a couple of times. So is he still battling something or not? They're a dinged-up team. Char didn't play much. He played 4 shifts in the third period, I think it was, 3.5 shifts in the third period. So there's a lot of questions, and the matchup game will be.
Let's not forget the 40-year-old goalie they have in that too.
And there you go. They have the guy who's turning 40. Who, I mean, he was good in this game.
No, yeah,
he was good, but he was sore after game. I guarantee. I know it. He was sore. He hasn't, even though he's played games, a few games this year, not the intensity of a playoff game.
No, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. He's played. He's won playoff series. He's done this, but the longer it goes, the harder it is going to be for him. He's going to get sore physically. He's going to be mentally. That starts taking a toll on you. You can't. He's been getting practice. That's going to go away now. The longer it goes, that's a bit. Now you drag it out.
All right. So now let me ask you this.
These guys down.
I want to get back to Bruin stuff, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's say Samsonov he'll get another practice on Tuesday. He'll get morning skate on Wednesday. Do you turn to the young Russian, or do you give Craig Anderson another go because he was good? He was really good.
He was good. I think maybe they could get away with playing him one more time and see if they could really ride him, if he could be great on the road. But
steal one more?
Steal one more. And if they go down 2-1, then they go to the Russian and look for him. But yeah, again, it's just one more thing to have to deal with. You don't want to deal with this stuff come playoff time. It starts piling up when you talk about Oshie, Eller, Carlson, Anderson, Samsonov, Kuznetsov. They've just got a lot of drama going on.
Right, and now you can get Bergeron away, his line away from Orlov and Carlson, I think they saw mostly. Again, forgive me, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I know in game one they did. So now you can control that matchup a bit more, and maybe what you do is, that I don't even know if that fourth line. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. By the way, it wouldn't surprise me if Feller's injured that they go 11 forwards and 7D. It wouldn't. Although I say that and then I think, well, geez, she's definitely battling something. Can you really afford to go 11 forwards? So we got questions. Let's rifle through some things right here as we want to talk. And I want to get in right now our fresh cup and our spark of the game. I mean. Yeah, what do you think which one do you want to do first? A little spark, or you want to do the fresh?
Let's go spark. Let's go.
All right. Spark. So for the spark of the game, I mean the Bruins. I mean, it was funny. We talked at length during the telecast. I don't know if you agreed or not. The Bruins had a hard time getting through the neutral zone a lot. The neutral zone of Peter Laviolette and the Caps, the 1-3-1, has given him hell. I felt that Taylor Hall, before he had gotten the goal, was probably the best one at getting through that neutral zone and then getting the goal with under 3 minutes remaining. To me, that sounds like a nice spark. What do you think?
Love that spark.
All right.
And we touched on it 2 minutes ago. I thought he was the best forward the Bruins had individually because of that, because of his skating ability, his ability to push the pace through the neutral zone against the Capitals, and then to score a greasy goal, like he said, greasy, and just getting in there and having 9 guys in the crease and battling and pushing it in. Love the spark of the game for Taylor Hall.
So we'll give Taylor Hall our spark of the game, brought to you by our friends at Sparks. The Spark Sharpener is just an amazing piece of equipment. It is the most convenient, accurate, and easiest to use skate sharpener that you will ever come around. Razor and I each have our own Sparks at home. We use it all the time. I can't wait actually to use it on Jake's skates tomorrow. He's got a couple of stuff coming up this week. This is something that if you get it, you will never regret it. The rings are simple to put on, take off. All you got to do is set it up, touch a button, let it go. Give it 2 to 4 swipes, and your skates and your edges are going to be gorgeous. And if you go to sparkshockey.com, they will get it to you, ship out the same day, and use Morning Brew. You will get free shipping. Nobody else is getting that offer right now. Sparkshockey.com. Sparks with an X. All right, now our fresh cup is brought to you by Fazenda, our friends over at Fazenda Coffee, fazendacoffee.com, where they will ship out coffee all over the place. Free shipping with 3 bags or more at $35 or more. Mugs are almost here. We've got to figure out what we're going to do with the mugs. Trust me, they are literally almost here. I have the tracking.
He's tracking. You're following them like Santa
I am.
Claus
It's like exactly.
Eve.
I tell you who I'm going to give the fresh cup to. Tell me if you like it or not. Charlie McAvoy. He earned himself a fresh cup. I mean, he was a strong brew, man.
+4.
Oh my God.
What a
5
sneaky
shots,
+4.
5 hits, 20, just under 27 minutes. That's fresh cup. That's a large fresh cup. I thought he was outstanding, and he will get the day off tomorrow. That's the type of thing. He gets the day off on
Him and Tuukka will be in the sauna together for sure tomorrow morning.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good schwitz, man. Get
That's
it out,
Yep.
sweat it out. All right, let's touch on a few other things. I do want to talk about the third line and how it looked. Charlie Coyle, we talked about it on Morning Brew as well the other day. Could see some changes. I thought it was the right thing. Elevate Jake to the right side over there. What did you think worked on that third line? What did you like most about it?
Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk skating, pushing pace. Got his goal again, which that gives him more and more confidence. He's in on the forecheck. He had 2 or 3 other wonderful opportunities just from pace and just from getting in and getting in on it. I love Nick Ritchie being physical. He took one real hard lick on Backstrom down in the corner in the third period, and you saw it coming, and you know that hurts. It's just a body blow on a guy like Backstrom, and Ritchie's able to take advantage of those out there on the ice, and I thought he did a good job. Recognized the penalty was bad.
I didn't like his penalty. Thank you for saying it. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Yeah.
He was trying to slow Oshie down there and got caught doing it. But that being said, he was trying to be physical, and he was already in on the forecheck prior, because of that. And then Coyle, it was. I think he was kind of following DeBrusk's lead a little bit, and that's a good thing if DeBrusk is leading that line at this point with confidence and pace, and they need that line. We talked about it, and if they can get the matchup too, right? I think they might have gotten stuck in the matchup a little bit, but they broke out in the second period and able to dictate themselves.
Yeah, I felt that Coyle had the puck on his stick at times a little more. I mean, there was a few passes early on that I'm like, oh no, Charlie. But overall, I thought that I thought he really got going. I loved the little. I thought Dylan may have gone down a tad early, Razor, on the where Coyle had the puck and faked a little shot, and then he went behind the net, and Coyle and Dylan and Anderson bumped into each other.
Yeah.
But regardless, he started that play. It was a nice breakout. And I just, in general, I agree with you. I like that line's effort, the way that they moved. Again, just like with Corrali, who I couldn't agree more putting him on that fourth line left wing. And that fourth line did not play much, Bud. They did not. Under 10.
They were very good with the puck.
No, understatement.
Lazard, I mean, he was really not very good. Which we haven't said at all, but he was that first period it was hard to watch those guys out on the ice. It was all 3 of them giving it away, and
so maybe that's where the matchups really come into play, in the sense of at home, getting those guys out there against better matchup, getting them an opportunity. That's something that we could see, and getting them more comfortable, allowing them to be more impactful.
Yeah, having them take offensive zone faceoffs more often and those kinds of things. Getting them out there against Ovi in the offensive zone and allowing them to get on, things like that. It's really a chess match at this point because I think Laviolette did such a good job with the matchups at home. It's going to be really fun to see how much the series changes and how Boston wants to dictate.
All right, let's talk about a few more things. Let's go through the Taylor Hall goal quickly. Let's go through the Marchand overtime goal, and then things we're going to quickly look for in Game 3 before we wrap this one up. So Taylor Hall gets the puck. It is a nice breakout. Brings it down that left wing side with about, 3 minutes left or so. And a few minutes before that, a few seconds before that, he had actually tried to skate through a defender cutting across the ice on the right side. And we're like, no, shoot that. Don't try and skate your way all the way through. Meanwhile, they come back out down the ice. I love the little shoulder fake that he gave John Carlson, and that just beat him. That just froze him enough right there. I thought a huge part to that play was Craig Smith getting right in front and stopping right there, the first guy to stop in front of the net.
It was really similar to Game 1 down in the corner on the power play where he's whacking away. He's not hitting the puck, but he's just like over it. He's whacking, hummingbird-esque. And it was exactly the same, but he's in front of the net and he's causing havoc and people have to get on him and Anderson can't cover it. He can't get it because of Smith's right in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows that puck to just kind of stick around long enough for it to poke out to Hall. And you talk about, coaching kids, you tell them to get away from the pile a little bit. And that's what Hall
Yes.
did. He got off of that pile just enough to allow McAvoy to torpedo himself in. Smitty's doing his thing. Krejci's got a guy, and it just happens to, of course it's going to go to your, just come out of that pile a little bit. And Hall's he's in the proper spot. He doesn't get in too tight.
Right, and I love the fact that he doesn't push it in. He makes sure it gets all the way to the back of the net,
It goes in way before he starts
Right.
pushing at Anderson. Yeah, there was no question that they could even challenge that. There's no way.
The only question was on that one, was there any goalie interference? They looked at it a little. When I say they, the Caps looked at it. Some people wondered about video review by the NHL. That's not until the last minute when the NHL takes over mandatory review. So the first 19 minutes, the team has to take that chance. Laviolette, I'm sure, looked at it and said, it's too close. Would it? Yeah. And if they were wrong, it would have been a penalty against them. All right, we're tied heading into overtime, and then just 39 seconds in. Let's go through the goal. I love, look, of course, you start the Bergeron line, no doubt about it. They get in. I loved how hard they worked on that shift. Even though the puck had come out, they'd worked hard on that shift. They had kept the guys on the ice. Bergeron ends up changing with about 30 seconds into the shift, but Pasternak's out there still, Marchand's out there, but Krejci then gets at the offensive blue line, and remember, it's the long change, so he's already in the zone, he stands there. Marchand takes the right route, Dylan looks over his left shoulder, and then, I got to be honest with you, bud, I said this on Nesson too, that's not a good play by Dylan, just throwing it up the wall.
That's horrible.
I mean, if that was a Bruin, we would have been like, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's the exact same thing as Miller's pinch on the third goal. It's exactly the same thing as
maybe even more egregious.
Good veteran players that made really ugly mistakes in crucial times. And Dylan, I know you see the two guys blowing the zone, and then what's Washington changing for? It was bizarre how
were they changing a matchup? I don't know.
Ovi's all the way down at the other end of the bench, and he doesn't even get to the zone by the time the puck's in the net, and Marchand's already in the shower by the time Ovi gets to the zone to play defense. But yeah, a good play by Marchand, not a great play. Dylan still should have been able to get it out. Krejci knocks it down, goes cross ice, and bingo bango, Grizzly, perfect seam pass. And it wasn't the toughest, it wasn't the smallest window, but he recognized it, and they all in sync. Marchand's able to open up. They recognize that opportunity, and that's what makes them great.
Separate, open up.
Yeah,
got a lot on that.
He's smart.
Craig Anderson got over there. Now I don't know how close it was, but there's nothing he could do on that one. Marchand ticketed for the corner. Gorgeous shot off of a beautiful pass. All right, any changes that you would make for Game 3, which is on Wednesday at 6:30 face-off? Would you? I mean, do you consider? I'm just throwing it out there. Do you? Of course, health being the equalizer. You know what I mean? Assuming everybody's healthy. Do you put Frederick in for a Corrali? I don't. Corrali takes important face-offs. The only left shot face-off guy you can do. I don't make that change right now. I can't see.
Kuhlman for Wagner?
That might be a consideration. I mean, maybe a guy like that, just to hunt pucks.
They weren't good, so that just kind of leads me to them making one change. They're not going to change 2 out of those 3 guys. Maybe they take 1 out of those 3.
Yeah.
I'm leaning that way a little bit, but at the same time, all in all, they're pretty solid.
Or do you say, hey guys, third line, fourth line guys, this is your call. This is your hey, get better, all of you.
Yeah. And again, this is the group they want, so they know they can now, like we've talked about, dictate matchups. So, Hey guys, it was a tough one. We weren't able to get you in opportune situations, but we need you ready to go because we're going to be able to put you in a good situation here on home ice.
All right, quickly on defense. Lausanne, let's say he's better. Do you put him back in?
Clifton.
I think I'm sticking with Clifton. Clifton sometimes can run out after a few games, but so what? Yeah. Take those few games of good, and then you can always put Lausanne back in, and you can really get that hand healthy. Who knows what it is? And by the way, they tell you everybody's day-to-day in playoffs, so for all you know, the Clifton could be out more. I mean, there were some other guys. I don't think I change anything else. I don't think there's many other big changes to make. Tuukka's your starter again on Wednesday night, so
Yes.
it will be fun to see. I'm serious about it too, bud. We're going to wrap this up right now, but I'm serious. If we can do it in figure it out with RC, figure out how to make it happen. Let everybody have their vent, but do it in an educated, good morning brew conversation, not a yell at you like on sports radio. So we'll see if we can maybe do that one day. All right. In the meantime, the Bruins tie the series up 1 game apiece.
Big
win. 4-3 win. Huge win in overtime. We caused Razor to stay up later than he wanted to. Me too, for that matter. But that's okay. We got this one done.
Overtime.
It is overtime. We'd like to thank Fazenda Coffee, FazendaCoffee.com, and Sparks Sharpener, as always, SparksHockey.com for participating with our show. Thanks a lot, guys. We love all the stuff that we're doing together. Have a wonderful day. Try and enjoy the moment. Your team still has a long way to go of getting really good, Razor. That's what I still say they have
Playoff
a lot.
hockey, it's awesome. We've got 2 overtime games. They're not going to win 15 in a row from now, but it's fun. This is good stuff. I mean,
and they're going to
really
get better
good
too.
stuff.
And they're not even at where they
absolutely.
haven't been near their best yet. That's the good news, I think, too. So let's get everybody rolling, everybody going, and let's see what can happen. So enjoy your day. Bruins have tied in the series 1 game apiece. The coffee should taste fantastic. So please, for the hockey god's sake, enjoy your morning brew.